miss Brother Martin's OLUKAYODE OGUNADE so much. There is a lot of shedding of tears. There is a lot of grieving. There is a lot of heartbroken. Right from the young ones here, even to the older ones. Brother OLUKAYODE OGUNADE was given birth to on the 1st of November 1949. So when we calculate it, he is 75 years old. And during the journey of his life, he has children and grandchildren that really survived him. But before he gave up the last breath, he took a decisive action. And that action is to cement his relationship with his heavenly Father Jehovah. And that was done on the 21st of July 2013, when he got baptized as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And aside from that, this is his beautiful wife, the wife of his youth. They started together at early age. He got married to his beautiful wife on November 8, 1975. Quite decades also. Little wonder we can see the expression of the children, the grandchildren, the relatives. They were looking so moody. It's nothing. It's just because we all miss him so dearly. Martin's OGUNADE really has made a name for himself. After his dedication, he took even another drastic steps in order to make sure that he will enjoy a smile of approval from his heavenly Father Jehovah. So little wonder we will miss him so dearly. However, before he got baptized, because he got baptized here in Ijebu, before he got baptized, what are some of the things that some of us did not know that we would like to know today? I will now call on Brother Victor Johnson, who will come up to tell us little background as to how Brother OGUNADE clearly see the truth and what led to his baptism as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Brother Victor Johnson, you are welcome to this program. Thank you. I learned that you and my Bible is very, very good as correct. You even eat sometimes in the same thing. Correct. How do you feel today see him in this box? I don't feel happy. And when the news of his death got to you, how do you feel?
It was really shocking. Because I was really confused. Because we spoke 3 days before that day.
The way you were shocked, that is the way all of us here were shocked. Can you please tell us, what is the background? What do you know about him? When he was studying, when he came to God's baptized, what can you relate about him?
Well, he was in Lagos, working for about 5 years. After that, he retired and came to Ijebu to rest. So while we were preaching, we got to his house, we preached to him, and he was really happy to know more about it. So we accepted the Bible study. So the Bible study started. He was really making progress because he was really curious to know more. In fact, he said he regretted of not even coming to the organization before now. So he was curious to the point of he told us that every twice in a week to come for a study, which we have been doing. So after some time, he want to make what he has studied, he made good. So he dedicated his life. After dedication, he made public his water immersion. So he got baptized. And after baptism, he did not stop. He continued to make spiritual progress. Apart from the spirituality aspect, he was a good man. He was very humble and hardworking. In fact, he was very accommodating. All the children in the congregation were not close to him. So, during the spiritual progress, he always wanted to go out for field ministry to declare the field, because what he learned gave him the morale to go out there to preach. In fact, he go out to preach on all the free service arrangements we have then in the congregation. So, after that, when I saw his divorce, it was 40, 70 hours, 80 hours, 90 hours. Baba, you are really importing more than the regular body here. Why don't you go for auxiliary pioneer to start? He accepted. He started auxiliary pioneer. Doing fine. After all, that told me, this regular pioneer I can do it now. I said, yes. So he was really good to do more, and in fact, after some time, he went back to Lagos with his family. And he did not stop, he continued his spirituality. In fact, whenever question that bothers him, he will call me or call the conductor. Please know, I need to know explanation on this, which we will do, and he's very happy to hear that. So he always curious to know more, and he has been doing fine from there. In fact, when he called me that he has been appointed, as his minister servant, I was really happy. And he's also a regular pioneer. So all this give me joy that, well, Baba has known the truth, and he made it through his own. And then lately, it has encouraged me too, because each time we are together too, he has a very good encouraging words. In fact, there's nothing you brought to him on the table that we have to belong to. He will give you encouraging talk, so that you should be feeling it. So always we do talk on phone. In fact, there's no need that we are abandoning this call on phone. So when the death came, it was really shocking, because it touches me a lot. But I'm happy that we see Baba again in the resurrection time. We are very sure that he will be with us in paradise. So that's an encouraging word to me.
Thank you very much for that. Now we have witnessed or listened to the way Baba started his journey as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And we can relate to some of those things that he mentioned. Baba, when Baba returns to Lagos to reunite with his family, he is always there at the forefront. No matter how early you want to dwell to the kingdom of, you will surely meet Baba here. Some of us, we said, let us just break this thing one day. No way. If you say you want to get to the kingdom hall an hour before our meeting starts, forget it too. You will meet him there. That is in for you. And when the hours of regular pioneer was just 70, Baba was reporting 90 hours that he spent in the ministry. That shows that he cherishes his relationship with his heavenly Father. However, he is now gone. We now put him in a box. I can still remember that day when the announcement was given, when we were called that Baba had breathed the last breath. All of us were running kata in order to go to his house. But when we got to his house, what do we see? We saw evidence of good rapport with neighbors. Mama and others can bear me witness his alias. his alias is Babs, not so? And when young one said Babs, hey, when small boy said Babs, he said he's always very, very kind. That shows that he is a seasoned person that really appreciates his relationship with Jehovah and his relationship with those that live around him. However, all of us, both young and old, need comfort because we have lost a real gem. A father indeed who is so caring and so loving, who easily adapts to any circumstances he finds himself. So, when we are grieving, you should not hold back the tears. You can shed tears. That is a healing process. Because we have examples in the Bible of those who are well grounded spiritually, who shed tears just because they lost their loved one in death. So, we have example of Abraham. Abraham was a man of faith. He got to the point that he was called God's friend. In that book of Genesis chapter 23 verse 2, there says, so Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan, and Abraham began to mourn, to weep over Sarah. Just imagine, someone called God's friend. What? Shed tears, weep profusely. And we can even remember the example of that of Jacob. When his beloved son was sold to slavery by his brothers, and the brothers collided, they sold his outer garment in blood of an animal, brought it to his father. Come, your beloved son has died. Jacob wept. All his other sons and daughters really consoling. He did not. He started mourning and even made an expression that he will go down to the grave mourning his son. But what type of person is Jacob? To show you that he's not just a weakling. Jacob was later, his name was later changed to Israel. Why? Because he wrestled with angels, demanding for a compensation. That is when Jehovah changed his name to Israel. Just imagine someone can wrestle with an angel. Is he a weakling? Of course not. But he wept bitterly and mourned over his beloved son. That is why, as we have lost our dear brother Martin, OLUKAYODE Clement in death, we can try. I can remember that very day. We were at Baba's house when we heard the news. Mama was crying. We were trying to console Mama. But when the little boy, who happens to be one of his grandsons, he normally bring him to the meeting. When he returned from school, in fact, he is beyond control. He was sending tears, he was really crying at the top of his voice. He got to his stage. His grandmom hold him tight. It's okay, it's okay. He said, no, grandpa cannot die. Yes, the reality is. But after he has already sighted grandpa and came back, now he has regained his feelings a little. Then he came back to his grandma, held her tight, started patting her on the back. Grandma, it's okay. Grandma, it's okay. I don't want your baby to rise. So very touching also. That is from him. Although very young, he knows the feeling, the absence that this situation, the void that this situation has really left behind. So this clearly shows that we can mourn, we can grieve. Then we may say, okay, it's just because he's human now. Say, Abraham is human like us, Jacob is human like us. What of Jesus Christ himself? Jesus was a perfect man, also. Then what happened? He shed tears publicly. He wept bitterly. Let's see what the account really says in that book of John. In that book of John, chapter 11, verse 33 to 35. When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come with her weeping, he groaned within himself and became troubled. He said, where have you laid him? They said to him, Lord, come and see. Verse 35 said, Jesus gave way to tears. Jesus gave way to tears. Let's listen to that expression in the language of our heart. That is in Yoruba language. That portion reads, nígbà tí Jésù rí tí òun àti Júù tó tẹ̀lé wa ń sunkún, ẹ̀gbọ́n kan bá gidigidi, ìdààmú sì bá a. Ó sọ pé ibo lẹ tẹ́ sí? Wọ́n sọ fún pé Olúwa wá wò ó. Jésù bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí da omi lójú. Kéèyàn da omi lójú. You are shedding tears. You are crying with anger, not so? So if you shed tears, it's justified. Jehovah himself has feelings for you. He knows the oil his absence has created in you. That is why himself promises in the book of Psalm 147 verse 3 that he will heal the broken-hearted and bind up their wounds. So there is no doubt about it. Jehovah is going to comfort you. Jehovah is going to fill the void that Brother Martin Ogunade has left behind. So, the situation is like this. Do we have any hope for the future? What hope did the Bible really give us as to the condition of the earth? And what will happen to death itself in the nearest future? Jehovah God is God of wisdom, God of justice, love, and power. So, death was not part of his original purpose. He said in Jehovah láti ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ni pé ká máa kú. Ikú kan jẹ́ àyàbárí. It's just because of disobedience of our forefather Adam in the Garden of Eden. That is what led mankind to start dying. Jehovah gave him instructions. Well, in all the trees in the garden, you can eat to satisfaction. But from this tree of knowledge of good and bad, you should not what? Eat from it. And the judgment was passed right away that the day you eat from it, you will surely what? Die. When Adam failed to heed to that instruction, what really happened? Join me in reading the book of Genesis chapter 3 verse 19. Genesis chapter 3 verse 19, here says, in the sweat of your face you will eat bread until you return to the ground. For out of it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you will return. Let's listen to that portion in Yoruba. Inú òkú ojú rẹ ni wàá ti máa jẹun títí, wàá fi padà sí ilẹ̀. Torí inú rẹ̀ ló ti wá, erùpẹ̀ ni ìwọ yóò sì padà sí erùpẹ̀. Look at this. From dust you are, dust you will return. And Adam is our forefather. And we are his offspring. It's just like those days when we were young, we normally call one bread long because of the excessive length. When they sent us to go and buy this long, do you know what we normally look for? There was some set of long that have flour at the back. Possibly some of us can relate to that. there is flower at the back of that bread, so we'll be looking for the flower that is most beautiful. We don't know how that flower comes about. That flower was inscribed in the mold of that bread. And any flower that comes out of that bread, the flower will be pasted automatically on it. Not so? So that is exactly the reason why we ourselves are feeling the brunt, the pain that Adam has caused us right from the Garden of Eden. And for our young ones, for you to understand that illustration, you realize you can recognize the cone cake, not so? The cone cake. There is always line beside it. It will be round, but there is line beside it. When you look at the baking pan, what happened? That inscription of that line is on the baking pan. So Adam is just the baking pan, while we are the product of the cake of bread that comes from it. That is why sin and death extended to us as humans today. So, despite this situation, Jehovah provides a hope that is sure to be realized. And what is that hope? Let's read through that book of Revelation chapter 21 verse 4. Revelation chapter 21 verse 4 really expatiates on that hope that can easily assist us to be able to bear the loss of our dear Father, Martin, Ogunade. Revelation chapter 21 verse 4 read, and he will wipe out every tear from their eyes, and there will be no more, neither will mourning nor outcry nor pain anymore. The former things are past. Death will be no more. How will you feel to live in the world whereby you will not witness this situation? Will you not feel to be there? Don't you want to live in a situation whereby you will not die again? That is the promises that Jehovah has made. And Jehovah is not human, who will say one thing and will not fulfill it. Like Martin OLUKAYODE can easily, possibly make some promises, and he wanted to fulfill it. But can he fulfill it now? He cannot fulfill it. Possibly he has related with his son, daughters, and everybody that come in the next year, and the one that I really know that he did not wait to celebrate is to mark his marriage anniversary. I think I can relate to that. The children have been planning to make it big, to celebrate their anniversary with his dear wife. Like, can he do it now? What really cut it short? Death. So, there is no doubt about it, we miss him. However, Bible clearly spell out the condition of the dead. In that book of Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 20 says, the soul that sins will die. And that is just the reason why Brother Ogunade is right in the casket now. And he is unconscious of nothing. He did not know what we are doing now. Neither can he identify the color that the children and the wife, everybody are putting on, and he cannot recognize it. Why do we so say? Let's see what the scripture says in that book of Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 5. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 5 read, for the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing at all. Nor do they have any more reward, because all memory of them forgotten. And in Yoruba, that portion of the Bible reads, nítorí àwọn alààyè náà pé àwọn máa kú, àmọ́ àwọn òkú kò mọ nǹkan kan rárá, wọn kò sì ní èrè kankan mọ́ nítorí wọ́n ti di ẹni ìgbàgbé. Ìgbà tí bàbá wà láyé, bàbá ti máa sọ fún màmá mi ò fẹ́ pẹ́ dé ìpàdé. Inú bí má bàbá tẹ̀ sọ fún pé àdúró jẹun, rárá mo ti late. Ìgbà wo ni màmá ti kọ́ yẹn bẹ̀yìn? láti October 4th before October 4th ni bàbá ti gbọ́ ìyẹn nítorí pé bàbá ti lọ. Ìgbà tó wà láyé ni bàbá máa ń wò pé kọ́kọ́rọ́ kingdom hall lọ́wọ́ mi ló wà. The key to the kingdom hall is in my hand. I need to get there on time for meeting for field service. But now, no way. That very day when we rushed to Baba's house, everybody was running hectare, arranging for how he will be taken to the mortuary. Could you imagine if he is conscious? Will he not object to that time when we were bringing him out of his room? He was wrapped with his bedspread. They wrapped him very well. And like 3 or 4 able-bodied person carried him and really put him in the ambulance. Why can't he confess? Why are you wrapping me with my bedspread? If he is conscious, will he not confess of that? And when he was taken to the mortuary, do you know what happened? They brought a metal stretcher. They laid the metal stretcher down. Then they brought him and put him on the metal stretcher. Like 2 able-bodied men carried that metal stretcher. And they went to where they want to embalm him. And you know where they embalmed him was underground. As they were taking him there, some of us were following. Even some of us even peeped into that environment. But what do we see after they have already deposited him here? They only bring that bedspread, the clothes he was putting on, they bring it, put it inside a black nylon and handed it over back to the family. Very question also. Why don't you say that? Where are you taking me to? This is because he is unconscious. He knew nothing at all. That is why while alive, when we are still breathing, when we can still plan, this is the time we can easily do whatever things we can in order to mend our relationship with Jehovah. That is why verse 10 of that book of Ecclesiastes chapter 9 says, whatever your hand finds to do, do with all your might. For there is no work, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in grave where you are going. That portion read in Yoruba. Ohunkóhun tí ọwọ́ rẹ bá rí láti ṣe, fi gbogbo agbára rẹ ṣe, nítorí pé kò sí iṣẹ́ tàbí èrò tàbí ìmọ̀ tàbí ọgbọ́n nínú ìsà òkú ibi tí ìwọ̀n ń. So whatever you can do while still alive, do it to please Jehovah God. Do it to mend your relationship with Jehovah. Because when we are in this situation, we cannot plan. So Jehovah gives us hope in the nearest future. And that hope is very, very sure. And that hope is spread out in the Bible, that millions who have died now will live again. That is, this is not the end of it all. This is not the end of Brother OLUKAYODE Matthews. Why do we so say? Because he himself has that strong belief that in the nearest future there is going to be a resurrection of the dead. So, that book of John chapter 5 verse 28 and 29 spells it out clearly that the assurance is there that the dead will come back to life in the nearest future. John chapter 5 verse 28 and 29, if you are there, it reads, do not be amazed at this, for the hour is coming in which all those in the memorial tombs will hear his voice and come out, those who did good things to a resurrection of life, and those who practice bad things to a resurrection of judgment. So the resurrection is a sure hope that Brother OLUKAYODE Matthews entertained. He strongly believed in that. and the future is well blessed with the resurrection hope. However, the resurrection hope is split into two parts. For the anointed ones, they will be resurrected to an heavenly life to serve as priest and king along with Jesus Christ for 1,000 years. While members of the other ship will be resurrected to the vicinity of the earth. Let's confirm this as we read the book of Revelation chapter 20 verse 6. Here says, having and only is anyone having part in the first resurrection. Over this the second death has no authority. But they will be priests of God and of Christ, and they will rule as king with him for the 1,000 years. So these are the first resurrection. This belongs to those who will rule as king and priest with Jesus Christ in heaven. And this is part of the thing that Brother OLUKAYODE Martins even believe that there is two hope. That hope, first one for anointed one, while the other hope is for the member of the other ship that Jesus really mentioned in that book of John chapter 10 verse 16 that he has other sheep which are not on this fold. That is going to bring them and they are going to be sheep under the same fold. So this hope really is an anchor to our faith, and we should rely on the assurance that Jesus Christ will bring about relief to mankind through the hope of resurrection. So those who live and die without opportunity to understand and apply Bible principle, what will happen to them? Do they have any hope too? Let's find out from the book of Acts chapter 24 verse 15. Acts chapter 24 verse 15, if you are there, it reads, and I have told no one God, which all these men also look forward to, that there is going to be a resurrection of both the righteous and the unrighteous. So this portion mentioned that resurrection is coming. There is resurrection hope for those who are unrighteous. But who are these unrighteous ones? These ones are those that live and die without having the opportunity to understand nor apply Bible truth in their personal life. So we are all here. And what brought us here is just because of the death of our dear father, our dear brother, our dear grandfather who has left him. So how can we benefit from being here as friends and family of the bereaved ones? What is our gain? What is the benefit of being here? Well, this type of situation really helps us to think twice. How do we spend our life? We have related many good things about Brother Martins. Just pause. What will people say about me if I find myself in this situation? This situation can easily help us to reason and think, how do we want to live our life henceforth? So that when we are gone, people will be able to do what? Relate positive things about us too. So, formula like this also reminds us of the brevity of life. Now we mentioned that Ra has spent 75 years. Quite old, not so? Very old. However, can we compare that with eternity in view? No. Is it possible? No. No. So that means to God himself, who has been living from eternity to eternity, Baba is still a baby. Not so? So the point is, when we think of how short-lived our life is, this really helps us to sit down and think, what is my relationship with my Heavenly Father, Jehovah? The reason is because the reality of death can never, ever be overruled. So we want to use our life in accordance to Bible principles so that we can be able to satisfy our Heavenly Father, Jehovah. The psalmist really told along that line. Under inspiration, he was able to write what was penned down in that book of Psalm 90, verse 12. Psalm 90, verse 12, if you are there, it reads, teach us how to count our days, so that we may acquire a heart of what? Wisdom. The psalmist employed Jehovah to teach him how to count his days, so that he can be able to act wisely. So likewise, each and every one of us want to ask Jehovah God to teach us. We want to use these occasions to reflect how we can easily acquire a heart of wisdom, so that we can be able to do our possible best in mending the fence between our relationship and that of Jehovah. So by the way we live our life, we can make a good name with Jehovah God. Why? Because good name is better than what? Good form. Let's see what the scripture says in that regard. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 1 of it reads, a good name is better than good oil, and the day of death is better than the day of birth. But the date of birth now, we know the tribe. Not be rejoicing. But now, Bible said the day of death is far, far better than the day of once we born. But we are here, crying, shedding tears. If joy is always associated with what? Is it? But sadness associated with what? But Bible said the day of death is better than the day of being born. Why? That day that we born that particular man who turned to be an armed robber, who was shot. Do people not rejoice that day? And even some people will die, they will say, Akutukwe. Well, even when he was alive, what is the benefit? Have you not heard of that before? As if to say they are anticipating for him to do what? So that is why this place mentions that the day of death is better than the day of one's being born. Because you have overspent your lifespan. You have left behind a legacy, a record that can be made reference to. Not so? But as at birth, have you laid any record? So that is why being here will really help us to try as much as possible to store up treasure in the heaven as Jesus really encouraged us. And by zealously working and conducting ourselves in a godly way, we share in the sanctification of Jehovah's name. That is why in that book of Proverbs chapter 27 verse 11, all of us, we are children to God, not so? Whether we are 105, 115, 75, 35 or 20, we are still children in the hands of God, not so? Let's see how God addresses us as sons and daughters. In that book of Proverbs chapter 27 verse 11, that place reads, be wise, my son, and make my heart rejoice, so that I can make a reply to him who taunts me. In the language of the heart, that is Yoruba, that place says, Ọmọ mi, jẹ́ ọlọ́gbọ́n kí o sì mú ọkàn mi yọ̀ kí n lè fún ẹni tó ń pẹ̀gàn mi ní èsì. So when we act wisely, Jehovah will rejoice over us. When we live our life in accordance with Jehovah's requirements, Jehovah himself will be very happy. And one thing is sure, no matter the relationship we build with Jehovah today, will he ever forget all the good work we have done? Do you think he forget all the sacrifices Brother Olukayode Martins has made? No. It has already written in his memory to time indefinite. Jehovah did not need to write anything down before he remember what we have done. Also, so likewise, Jehovah will never forget any act of loyalty we did or we are doing today. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 58 capped it off by saying, therefore, my beloved brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always having plenty to do in the work of the Lord. Know that your labor is not in vain in connection with the Lord. So our labor will never be in vain. Jehovah recognizes any effort we put in his service. So as fellow believers, we can remind one another of that sure hope and provide emotional support to the family, because this time is a very tough time. I can remember one time we are at brother's house when this preparation of burial is taking place. Could you imagine the first son of the house, because he was so emotional, he did not want to display it publicly. Do you know what he will do? He will rush to the room, shed tears, clean his face and come back to the sitting room again. I think you can relate to that, not so. That is to tell you that he wants to prove to Mama that just be relaxed, I'm here for you, not so. But he will go to the room, shed tears, clean his face and come back to the sitting room just to console you. So it is the responsibility of all of us to rally around the family, to console them, because today is not the end. Is today the end of the shedding of tears? No. Anytime our mind touches some of the things we miss about him, we do what? We shed tears. So let us rally around them, let us comfort them, give them words of encouragement, and this will really lift up their spirit, and they will be able to continue to rejoice, especially in knowing that God is still alive. So we prayerfully look to Jehovah to give needed strength to you, family member of Brother Martin Olukayode, Ogun, and Ipaye. Jehovah will comfort you. He will strengthen you. Likewise, all the families and the friends around you will not leave you. Mama, the brothers in the congregation will not leave you. We will check on you times and again to make you see how you are doing. Because it's not easy. Do you imagine for how many years that you and him have been sleeping together? But now you sleep alone also. And that morning, you relate to us that morning that he died, both of you were eating together at the sitting room. Do you remember? He just ate finish and tell his dear wife, please, I want to rest in it. Then he entered the house, lie down on his bed. After some time, I think the wife was so worried. This Baba supposed to don't wake up now. He called one of the daughter and let me go check with Baba now, make him wake up. Possibly he has been missing his gisting. Only for the persons to meet him that is lifeless. So we feel for you. And God will definitely comfort you. So let us therefore continue to comfort ourselves with the hope of resurrection, because in the other scripture, Jehovah will bring about total relief to mankind's situation. That is why the psalmist concludes with the expression recorded in the book of Psalm 9, verse 9 and 10. Psalm 9, verse 9 and 10 reads, Jehovah will become a secure refuge for oppressed, a secure refuge in time of distress. Those knowing your name will trust in you. You will never abandon those seeking you, O Jehovah. So Jehovah will never abandon you. Jehovah will definitely be with you. In Yoruba, that portion conclusively reads, Jehovah yóò di ibi ààbò fún àwọn tí a ń yí lára, ibi ààbò ní àkókò wàhálà. Àwọn tó mọ orúkọ rẹ yóò gbẹ́kẹ̀lé ọ. Jehovah ìwọ kì yóò pa àwọn tó ń wá ẹ tì. So Jehovah will be with you and he will comfort you. Let us therefore take solace in the resurrection hope. Resurrection hope, whether to heavenly life or to the earthly paradise, when we will live without time indefinite, when we will live without time, when we will live we will have no need to cry, when we will live with joy and abundance of peace and tranquility. May that time be a time that can easily help us to cope with the hardship of the system. We sincerely thank you very much for the Ogun for that point that was placed on the scriptures. There is no doubt that all of us in attendance, and especially the members of the family of Brother OGUNADE, have been comforted from God's promises from the Bible. We can be rest assured that Jehovah, God does not lie, just as he had in this book. Whatever he has promised, he will fulfill. Very soon, we're going to welcome Brother back from there in the earthly realm. This very earth will walk in paradise in the near future. It is God's promise. So please comfort with that promise of God. We want to thank all of us, 141 attenders, listen to that Bible discourse. Thank you for listening and for the patience too. We have this announcement. The interment will take place at Ako Estates along rapidly Ako Estates. And then after the interment, there will be a reception at the school of Ijebu Grammar School. Ijebu Grammar School hall. So we now bring this funeral program to close with song number 151. Song 151 as the theme that is song 151. After the song, Brother Ijebu will give the close.
Thank you.
the God of all comforts, our Creator, the next thing is just to go to the graveside, and there is going to be a little discourse at the graveside before about the renewal.
It's quite satisfying. Shema looks at the going but I know. You understand? Isso daí nem como brilham.
dẹ̀ pé